Welcome to Recruiting is No Joke Live. We're here at the Fountain booth, looking amazing. I've even got the shirt. I'm here with another former alumni of the podcast, Krista Tan, and you're with Talent Collective.
Yes.
We're going to get into it. When did we do our first podcast?
Oh, goodness. At least a year ago. Maybe a little over a year ago. I was at a small startup at the time, head of people over there, and have since moved on. I'm doing very exciting things in the TA space now.
Yeah, I mean, Talent Collective, everybody knows you guys.
Really?
I feel like they do.
Oh my gosh.
But this is your opportunity right now. What's Talent Collective? What are you guys doing? I want to know.
Awesome. So Talent Collective is a community for women in the TA space, in the recruiting space. So we have both physical events, like in-person events all over the country and Canada, hopefully more locations globally to come within the next year or so. Chicago's coming in June. Woot woot. We have Austin next week as well. So doing a lot of stuff out there in person, but then we have a whole slew of virtual programming as well. So anything from a mentorship program to a bunch of workshops and fireside chats and peer groups, and it goes on and on and on. Yeah,
I love it. And how many members do you have?
We have almost 400. I think we're at like 375 right now globally. And I would say probably a good half are on the West Coast since the founders are in the Bay Area. But the other half are all over the US and then scattered globally as well.
So we had Summer on here, Summer Delaney earlier. We were talking about just like the trust that comes with the community and how you foster that. And she works with a lot of newsletters. What have you found? I mean, because we're talking about 11 months, 400 members. You've got chapters and you're growing fast. So what's been some of the key with that fast growth to just keeping that connection, creating that like actual community, right? Rather than, hey, we got 10,000 members and no one's engaging.
Absolutely. So connection's all about relationships, right? So we try to create experiences where people are actually going to be talking about topics that are important to them. Not only recruiting topics, but also life. Right? I mean, that's how we really ultimately get to know each other. We're actually kind of just starting to talk about more women's issues too. We have something coming up on women's pay equity. So I think with just all of the topics that we are talking about, people are able to go deeper than just surface level. We also have mixers even online, just to create a space, like an informal space for people to get together. It doesn't always have to be like some learning opportunity, right? Just
always be learning. Learn something new.
Always, every day.
Pick up a new skill during COVID and the pandemic. I mean,
oh my gosh. Pretty much.
What's been like the best feedback for you and like that's impacted you the most just from people who are joining?
Oh my goodness. When I hear stories about either someone getting their job through a Talent Collective member or connection. Maybe they're an agency, they got a client or something through one of those connections. But then also I've heard really cool stories of people who worked together like 20 years ago, hadn't seen each other since, and then they met at a Talent Collective event, had no idea both of them were going to be there, and reconnected after all of these years and are now like going to dinner together. So things like that have been really impactful, but hearing all of those unique stories has been really fun.
Has it surprised you? I mean, I just think of obviously the last 4 years, which I have to like think back now to 2020. Everything went online, everything went digital. You're doing a lot of in-person events. So I guess what's your thought around that? Do you think people are just craving that? But craving the right type of environment? As a follow-on to that, I'd love to kind of even know like the feel of an event where, cause you have males go to the event. They're not part of the community, right? So like, what's the difference there? I'm just curious.
Okay, so the first part of the question about in-person versus virtual, I see a mix actually. So there are definitely people that only want to go to the in-person stuff. They're like, I need to get out of my house. I need to get out, like off of Zoom, the whole thing. So
the extroverts.
The extroverts want to be out there, like in each other's, space and feeling the energy. But then there's also people who, like basically maybe they have a family, they have kids, like they like physically aren't able to go to after hours things or whatever the case may be. So it has to be during the day remote, right? So there's a little bit of a blend of both. With regards to our lovely male allies and counterparts, we do have some in-person events that are co-ed and anyone can join. We had a big like New Year's party in January in the Bay Area that anyone could join. It was super, super fun.
Yeah.
We also have had some token males come as, allies to some of our events. One guy actually told us he was going to be the token gay guy, and he showed up and he was actually like completely straight, married. So it was like actually a really funny thing.
Oh,
but he like really wanted to be at our event. So we're like, great, come on, awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but for the most part, they are all women. We also have some virtual events that are totally for the public. Anyone can join.
Yeah.
So we try to make it clear, but honestly, if a man shows up, like all about it. Yeah.
No. Yeah. So I know, I think I'm moderating at an event in Chicago, which I'm super excited about. What's your kind of, you're 11 months in, like, what's your thought of like growth? Like, cause I feel like what you're doing, it has that ability to get really big quick. So do you have like wait lists? Like, how are you thinking about this?
We don't have wait lists, so anyone can join virtually. As far as our like physical locations, we actually set out the year to have maybe 4 or 5 locations, and we're actually up to 10 already. So we're very like, we're kind of letting the universe lead us wherever it's going to take us. So as new members join, a lot of them are saying like, I want this in my town. I want this in Seattle. I want this in Denver, Toronto, etc. And so we're kind of like very open to whatever that looks like. There just has to be a market of TA professionals in that space, and then someone to lead it, right? Someone that's like boots on the ground that wants to do events in that area. So we're talking to some people in London right now. So that could be a thing. I know. Like off the North America continent. That would be cool.
That is awesome. When you're hiring a leader, I mean, you're not really hiring, right? But I guess when you're looking for people to take that leadership role, what are you looking for? Like, how do you kind of vet that? How do you fill it out?
So a big part of our community is not just coming for, I guess, like selfish ambition, right? Like not just coming to take from the community and just like network for network's sake. Like we actually want people that are really invested in building community, right?
Yeah.
So that's give and take. So that's definitely something we look for in our founding members. Somebody that wants to give back just as much as they're going to receive naturally from the community. And then somebody who like, just timing wise, like does have some space in their schedule to be able to plan events. They don't have to be big. They could be, hey, let's meet up at a coffee shop on a random Tuesday, but like someone who's going to be proactive about that. So you have to really be committed.
Yeah.
But those are, I think, some like enthusiasm about our space. Obviously, they have to be a woman in TA as well.
Yeah.
So
no, I love that. What about community? Everybody's trying to build community, but like, I guess, how do you even define community, right? Like, what is that? Like, what's your vision for ideal community?
Yeah, the ideal community, I would say, is along the themes of some of the things we've already talked about, which are those deeper relationships, like actually knowing people and keeping in touch with them long term, like far after their talent collective members, right? So creating, like, I hate the word networking, but like it's networking, but to actually build relationships, deeper relationships, and then giving back, right? So like that giving and receiving, right? Like a lot of our more experienced members are members because they want to be a mentor. Like they want to give back. They want to be able to help those who are more junior or who might be needing something. So I think that's a big part of our community as well.
So for junior members, you join a community, best advice.
Do as much as you can.
Yeah.
Be at as much at as many things as you can. Get involved. I would say like there's so many opportunities in Talent Collective that people just don't tap into, right? We have a mentorship program, like maybe like 10% of our members are in that, right? Like, and that's such an untapped resource. We have peer groups, like again, maybe another 10% are in that. So don't just
job market, right?
Exactly. And that's how you find your next opportunity. That's how you make these great connections, right?
Yeah. It's funny because I think a lot of people join communities, right? Because like, what am I going to get? What am I going to get in my membership?
Yes.
What am I going to get in all of this? But I love that approach of like, what are you going to bring?
Yes.
And, it's like the more you give, the more you're going to get out of it.
Exactly.
It's like if you're at a rock show, you're not giving the energy.
Yeah.
The person's performance, like,
exactly.
It's like that same type of idea. Well, look, I love it. Where can people find out more about Talent Collective? Like, where can they connect with you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, obviously we have a big LinkedIn presence. So you can find me on LinkedIn. You can find our company, Talent Collective, on LinkedIn. We obviously have a website, talentcollectiveco.com. We also have an Instagram page. So any of the above.
What about TikTok?
We don't have TikTok.
All right. It's okay.
We do have a YouTube channel where we do post some of our more public events. So all of the above.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, last question then. Like, how do you balance that, right? So you have public events, you have private events.
Yep.
Like, how do you manage that?
Yeah, so our private events for members are for women only. They tend to be more intimate. So they might be like a workshop where somebody's presenting something and then like a Q&A. We also have these things called community conversations, which are not necessarily like a speaker, but we'll have a topic. Like this week, it was like recruiting process. We have a bunch of questions. Everyone comes and shares their own ideas and best tips and practices, comes with questions. So those are some examples. And then for the public, we usually do one webinar a month, and that's usually with a partner.
Yeah.
We'll usually do
like a
one
partner community then? Yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll do one like fireside chat, which is, public, open to anybody. So yeah, those are usually two things that we do for the public every month.
Yeah, I love that. It's true. That means it's a safe space then, right?
Exactly.
And, you don't have the camera guys like this over there. So awesome. Well, look, it's been great reconnecting, catching up. I'm excited for Chicago. I'm excited to be involved, and I love what you guys are doing. I think I'm excited for like next year.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like that 400 is going to be a lot more than 400.
This is the tip of the iceberg.
I know.
We're right on the edge of like going crazy.
It's so cool. It's so awesome.
You.
So thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Joel.
And you guys, if you want to find out more, I say reach out to Krista, follow Krista and Natalie, who is also around here somewhere. Yeah. But yeah, we're good.
Awesome. Thanks, Joel. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.